Good evening everyone. Is my screen visible to all? Am I clearly audible? Okay. So how was the weekend, guys? Enjoyed? Okay, so let's continue. About LMS issue, please let me know in last 15 minutes. I will share one email ID. There you can post me this issue. Okay, so that we can check on that. Okay. Not good. Oh, okay. Good. Okay. Okay, fine. Yeah, fine. So on last session, because of some issue, because of power cut and all, we're not able to not able to do that session. So no worries. Today we are going to see that part. Okay. So here, first of all, in today's session, like after the session in your LMS, you will see one session quiz, which will be only live today, that is from 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Is that clear? Okay, it is just about 10 questions. Okay, and you have to just attend after, like it will be live from 8:30 to 9:30 today. It's a session quiz. Okay, so that you will get some if you will score more, you will get badges, right? And you can post in your resume, you can add it there, you can add it in LinkedIn, so that will uplift your project and that will uplift your work. Is that clear? So after the session, don't forget to attend the session quiz. It's a session quiz, so it will be only live from 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. that is today. Is that clear to everyone? And it will be about what we are going to take in session, right? So you have to listen it carefully so that you can able to find, you can able to solve this React basics. Is that clear to everyone? Okay. And one more thing, on Friday, that was in last Friday, there was no session because of some power cut and all. Okay, today we are going to continue, right? uh, Harika, right? No worries for you. I will check out. Okay, so but right now we have to start the session. In last 15 minutes, please remind me about your LMS issue. Okay, there I will share you one email ID so that you can get. And I also hope in offer later, whatever changes you told me to do, that changes, all changes are updated, right? And if you find any if maybe I missed some of you, so you can please message me again so that I can do the changes whatever you want in your offer letter. Okay, and I hope so most of the LMS credentials issues are resolved, right? I think one I can see that. Please remind me after like in last 15 minutes, please remind me, Harika, so that I can share you the link. Okay, so shall we start now, everyone? Don't forget, again, just last reminder, just don't forget the session quiz. This will be live from today 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Okay, this is a session quiz, so it will not be get extended. It will be based on what I am going to explain in session. Okay, so now let's continue. So see, before starting, I want to clarify one thing regarding our internship project so that we can complete it properly within the given time. Okay, now listen carefully. Since this is a internship object and saying project, if we start building the entire UI from scratch and then we will move towards back-end front-end integration like connection, it may take a lot of our time and we may not be able to complete the complete functional project within the internship timeline. Okay, so I will be sharing the UI design with you first. Okay, you download this. I will tell you now only how to download, what to do. You can keep this separately also, so that you will able to know this is how entire UI, okay, without logic, static UI we have created with lot of CSS. Okay, so you can just go through it, because designing one website can take time because of styling and all. Okay, so in previous session you guys have seen, that was I think on Thursday, I think it was, sorry, Wednesday, I think it was, right? So there I have shared already the React example. If you want that code, that also I will upload. In last session, we already see how to create one React project that was about the student dashboard. Okay, it's the same way, but because it's a big project, so you will have some more components. It's a separate components, all CSS we have. Okay, so you can go through it very carefully. If you find any type of doubt in that, you can just ask me. Is that clear to everyone? Okay, now again, this front end folder I am going to share you. This is whole the static, right? So this I will be sharing first, so that we will use this as our front end structure, and we will focus on the front end and the back end that we have already implemented word to word. Okay, like how to implement the APIs, how to connect to the database, how we will connect front end and back end, because separate back end we have created, separate front end is there now with UI. Now how we will connect this both to make one functionable website. Okay, again, this doesn't mean we are skipping the learning part. Understood everyone? While connecting everything, we will understand how the front end communicates with the back end, how API works, how data is stored, how it is retrieved, okay, how the authentication and error handling works, and the complete flow of a real world MERN application we are going to work. Okay, so our main goal is that by the end of this internship, we should have a working project that we can actually demonstrate. Okay, rather than spending most of the time in, you know, applying CSS, styling and all. Is that clear? I hope so you understand the reason behind this approach. Okay, and I hope so you support me throughout this project. So we will build the functionable project, and we will also understand the functionality step by step. Is that clear to everyone? So let's work as a team and make sure we complete good functionable project by the end of the internship. Okay, so before starting, now what you have to do is go to the day 11. Their front end you will see frontend.zip file. This is the static UI part. You have to click this download. Where your folder is there, that is here. Here I am going to click save. It will get saved. Is it done? Okay. Yeah, it's done. Now go to your file manager and go to your folder. This was internship B8 folder. HomelyHub React example we already seen how to create and all. HomelyHub, click HomelyHub. There you will see backend folder and the frontend folder. Now you have to unzip it. Right click, then extract to frontend. It will get extracted like this. So this zipped, this compressed file you can delete now. Please select and delete. Okay, so now inside our HomelyHub project, we will have the backend folder and we will have the frontend folder. Is that clear? So inside the frontend folder, this all files are available. Now, we will go back, go to the HomelyHub, do the right click and open with code. Let me close this all. Okay. Let me delete these terminals also not needed. Fresh terminal we will open. New terminal. Okay, it's done, right? So now we are inside the Homely Hub. Now please close the backend here. Now let's focus on front end first. Okay, so now what you have to do, go here using CD. We are going to open the front end folder. CD front end, click enter. Now you will be inside your front end folder. Now here same command npm run dev. Click enter. Sorry, no, not this one. Wait. Control C. Let me do Control C. Yeah. So sorry. First of all, you have to open the front end. Then actually all the packages are installed, right? So inside your package.json, whatever dependencies are there, that should get installed in your front end so that we can use it. So what we have to do? We have to open the front end. Now here I am going to type npm I. Okay, now click right, don't write this npm run dev. Okay, by mistake I have written npm I. When you will do npm I inside your front end folder, whatever packages dependencies are here, that will get installed in your front end folder. Okay, it's taking little time. Yeah, as you can see on left side, node modules folder getting created. That means successfully we are installing all the dependencies. It will take some 2-3 minutes. Okay, so till then it is installing. Yeah, so you can see in your front end folder src folder is there. Okay, if you will click components folder, all the components are there, all the component files are present. Okay, property listing, that means it's displaying the property details. Home folder contains all the filter. It's using npm run dev. Okay, then we have filter models, footer, header. Whatever changes you want to do, you have to just go to that part and you have to do the changes. Okay, now in this static you will see some to do. Okay, that means now when we are going to connect front end and back end logic, that logic we have to apply in components too. Where, so that's why I have added this to do, like where what we have to add. Is that clear? So for now it is all the static. Now if you will go to the css, this is the styling part. Okay, so related to the accommodation, all the styling is done inside the accommodation.css. Then home.css, all this styling is done here. My bookings.css, all this styling based on my bookings is done here. Okay, using the class name. Okay, so all the css are available. Now you guys can see here. That's why I didn't I didn't teach this part. Already you know how to create the components and all, so you can just practice. Okay, because this much it will take some time. So yeah, we are sharing this front end UI with proper styling so that we can, yeah, one more thing, here inside the data folder we have the static data.js. That means whatever data now we are going to see, okay, here all the static data is added inside the static data, and in all the components wherever it is needed, that part we are taking. For example, if I will go to the home and I will go to the property list, here I want only to show the all the properties and the count of the properties. Okay, so from that static data .js I only took this static properties and the details regarding that. Okay, so here all the static data is present. So now successfully we installed all the packages, as you can see here. So now what I will do, here I will type npm run dev. Now when you will do this, as we all know, our Vite is running on which localhost? 5173. So I am going to copy this. I am going to open the Chrome, new tab. I will paste it and I will click enter. So what we have done, basically we use the command like cd frontend. Okay, that is we are now inside the frontend folder. Then you have to compulsorily type npm I so that all the packages will be installed in your project whatever we used. Okay, and plus after that if you want to check the output, what we type there, npm run dev. Little bit, yeah, now it is opening. Everyone can see this. So this is the static part, guys. Everyone please see here carefully. If I will type Goa also and I will click here search, it will not give us the result as per Goa because this is static. Is that clear to everyone? If I will click log out, only message will come, user has logged out successfully. But in real you are not logged out. Why? Because as you can see here, right, my account and logout option is coming. So this is the whole static part, and this whole data is present inside this static data.js, and we written the code here at once, and with all the functions we have written export, so that in whichever component the static files, these files are needed, from there we can import, so that here, that's why here export is given. Okay, wherever it is needed. Understood everyone? So you can see some static properties. If you will hover, you will get the property name, location and per night. If you will click this, you will get the property details. You can see the URL is coming like this. It's not an actual one. Okay, so it's a static one. Right here you can see all the things. You can see this, you can see this description, you can see the images perfectly, it's coming. You can close it, and yeah, you can just do this also, right? But payment will not be happen. And can you see everyone, when you are going to the date to select dummyly, what I have done, some of the dates I have already selected, okay, while doing booking, so that you can see now as a user, if I want to book from 10 to 13 September, I can't book because it's already booked by someone else. Is that clear to everyone? Okay, so 16 to 18 if I will book, guest 2 I will add, full name, mentor, number, suppose. Okay, so book this place, 9,000 is coming. So it is number of guests. Okay, number of nights, how, like, what's the number of nights is happening? 6, wait, I want, yeah, 16 to 18 only, right? So 16, 9, 79. Okay, 2 nights are is there. Okay, 2 nights. So per night it's 4,500. So now total per 2 nights are there, right? So total we are getting 9,000. Now if I will click this, like this, the payment will come. Now you can click this, like this payment will come. Payment page will come and successful, and you will be back to your my bookings. Okay, now I booked, but I can't see that. Why? Because it's a static again. Okay, so in real the booking is not happening. Is that clear to everyone? So dummy in my bookings, how my bookings will be shown, dummy data is there. Okay, that's why we first of all create the UI. Okay, and in same format now we want the actual data. Is that clear? Now you can see these details of your bookings. You can go back by clicking the logo, right? This is the filter. Okay, you can click, you can apply the filter. This is the trip gen, where now it will not show, right? But yeah, this is when we will see the AI part, that time we will see. Now here you can click this my account, here in my profile you will get the full name, email address when you joined on. So this is the dummy data. Okay, this is the dummy profile photo. Also you can click edit profile and you can edit the profile and update. Now nothing will happen. Change password. Now you can go to your bookings, whatever bookings you have done, that data will come. My accommodations, so this is the my accommodations dummy data. Okay, so like this, that means this is the property that I have given for the rent. Okay, so what will happen, how this will come, when you will click add new place, here you have to add. Is that clear? Here you have to add, and this description will be based on whatever data you are going to fill in this form. Based on that description will get generated using the AI, so don't worry about that. This is the AI feature, one of them. When you will click publish listing, so what will happen, it will come here also. Okay, plus it will be also be seen here, so that user can book your property. Is that clear? So as a user you guys have two roles. We have two roles. First role is that I can book any of the property. Second role is I can rent my property also. Is that clear to everyone? Any type of doubt here? Is this clear? Is this clear to everyone? Okay, so this is the static part. Okay, now what we are going to do next is we are going to start connecting backend and frontend. Okay, to get the actual data. How that mechanism today we are going to see. If time permits, we will start with the code also. Understood everyone? So this whole files are static. For now it is not workable, just UI is ready. Is that clear? So now in future we are going to write down the logics inside this only. Okay, so what you can do is you can keep the zip file separately. So whenever in future, because in future this will be whole dynamic code, this static code will become whole dynamic code. Is that clear? So you can get confused in future whenever you want to do practice. So for your safer side, what you do is when you do unzip, okay, I told you to delete, right? So what you do, that zip you delete from your HomelyHub because it will look messy, and you paste it inside your file folder. Is that clear? So in file folder what will happen, all the files related to your project will be there, right? So in future whenever you want to see only the static UI, how we created and how the styling we applied, at that time you can open it, you can unzip it again and you can do it. Is that clear? Okay, so this is why this is one of the trick. If you want you can do it like this also. Okay, so yeah, so now let's start everyone. So now let's understand how our this React front end communicates with our backend using one flow also I uploaded, that is using Axios. Okay, using Axios, how it is happening. Okay, using Axios we are going to connect our backend to the front end to make our whole HomelyHub app as a functionable app. Okay, now let's first of all understand the flow. What is the flow? Always remember guys, very important, this today's session and after this session is very important. Yeah, it's no worries, index.css not needed, because when you create npm create Vite and when you give file name, right, so that time the dummy css is there here. Okay, we don't need that. Why? Because already to our project we have already added the css files. Okay, there are so many css file inside the css folder. Okay, so we didn't needed the default index.css file. That's why I have removed. Is that clear? Okay, so if it is empty, don't worry. Knowingly I have kept it empty. Okay, now, so from today onwards it's very important sessions, because backend you have created without any tension, just logic, MongoDB, then in Postman, just check the URL, check the API and API endpoints, right? You get the output. You can see in MongoDB everything was just in one page, right? But in front end, what happens? Already this UI you have created. Now you want to connect from the backend, and in same format the data should come. Understood? Suppose this all property list, all these are the dummy data, correct? In our database there are 25 of properties, or so many properties are available, right? So that property should come in the same format, correct? Login should be happen correctly, logout, so it should get logged out, right? You should have the login page, your authentication. When you go to any property and when you try to book any of the property, if you are logged in, then you can book. But if you are not logged in, you should not able to book. You should not able to see your account, right? You should not able to see my bookings. You should not able to see my accommodation. You should only able to see list of properties, that is home page, and the property details, nothing more than this. Is that clear? Remember protect function we have created, if you guys remember. So that all parts we have to see carefully how we are going to do. Is that clear? Okay, so see what is the flow. What happens? Front end sends a request through Axios, using Axios. Okay, front end sends a request, because of course front end is what users see. I am going to send the request from front end only. It goes where? It goes to the backend API. Okay, it goes to the backend API. Then next it goes to the JSON response. It gives you the JSON response. Okay. Next, what to the, then it give you the result in front end. Is this clear to everyone? Okay, listen carefully, because in your session quiz, again we will upload so many session quiz after the sessions. So whatever I am teaching, listen carefully. Okay, see, front end sends a request, backend processes it and sends data back as a response. This is the flow of the connecting backend to the front end. Is that clear? Okay. Now what is backend? Backend creates the API. It creates the API. What is this? In example, if I will show you, everyone can see this slash API slash users. Okay, or in your code also, if you will see, go to the backend, there inside the src you will see the index.js and the route, suppose property router. Okay, and the common one is here. See, slash API slash v1 slash rent slash listing slash, if nothing, then you will get all the properties. Slash, if property ID is there, then you will get what? You will get their property details. Understood? So this is what backend we have created. It creates the API. Okay. First on the backend we create the API endpoint like slash API slash users and all. Okay. For example, in this example, right, when anyone will visit this API, response should get their ID and name. That is inside the response.json. So API.get is what? It creates a get API. API slash users is nothing but the API user. Okay, API URL. Response.json, that sends the users as response, JSON response. Okay, so our backend is ready to provide the user data. We have already completed backend. Now comes here front end. Okay, this uses the Axios. Okay, this uses the Axios. So here first of all we import this package as Axios. Okay, This brings Axios in our project, and using that we use .get all HTTP method, okay, to send a GET request. Then whatever API in backend we have created, that API endpoint we write inside the logic in front end. Then in response, it contains the server response. See, whatever response this backend is going to send, in front end we want to show, so here we are sending, right? And response.data is nothing but it contains the actual user data. Now what happens behind the scene here? First of all, React frontend calls, okay, using axios.get/API/users, for example, okay. Then request goes to the backend, okay. Here it is written get/API/users, okay. Both the things matches. Then backend processes this request and backend sends this JSON, okay, and Axios receives the response and we access the data using response.data. Understood? So remember one thing, Axios is not our backend. Axios is not our backend. Axios is simply a tool that helps our front end send the HTTP request, this get, post, put, patch, okay, send this HTTP request and receives the response from the front end. Is that clear to everyone? What is Axios? Axios is just a tool that helps our front end to send the HTTP request and receive the response from the back end. Is that clear to everyone? Okay, so Axios is not back end, it's a tool which connects front end and back end through this HTTP request. Is that clear? So it's very simple. You just remember this flow. Is that clear to everyone? This is how our front end and back end communicates with each other. Any type of doubt in this? What is Axios and all? Is everything clear to everyone? Reply fast so can we move further. Clear like water? Okay. Okay, very good. I hope so this you understood, because in interviews this type of questions are asked. Okay. Now, Axios part is done. We got to know. Okay. Now, after connecting our front end and back end with Axios, we need to manage the API data using Redux. Understood? See, connection, if you done front end and back end, you are going to do with Axios, okay. But now that API data we have to manage, that we do using the Redux, okay. So it's a very simple flow. What we do, first we create the Axios instance, that is separately inside the utils. Sorry, this is the back end, right? Remove this back end for now. Yeah, inside the utils folder, you will be seeing axios.js file. Everyone please open this. Inside the utils folder, if you guys have downloaded, if not, that is also okay. Inside utils, you will see axios.js file. Okay, this is the Axios instance file we have created. Okay, we created a centralized Axios instance, so we don't repeat the API configurations everywhere. Is that clear? What do I mean by API configurations everywhere? Because open your backend, everyone. In backend folder, can you see, go to index.js. Can you see /API/API/API thousands of times? Can you see that, everyone? Yes? Okay, so instead of writing this API thousand of times in your front end, what we do, we create inside the utils. First we create utils folder. It's a name that we have given. Okay, that doesn't mean like utils means something in React. No, it's a we give the folder name as a utils when we are adding some files like helper files which help our files. Okay, that type of files we add inside the utils folder and we give the name as a utils. Is that clear to everyone? Okay, so now inside the utils folder we will write we created the Axios instance where we kept /API as a base URL, so that in all the logic we don't have to write /API thousand of times. Is that clear? So now we can use Axios instance for our API calls. Any type of doubt here? Is this clear to everyone? We will come there, no worry guys. This QS with credentials to this I am going to come here, don't worry, I will not lose this part. Okay, just I am giving you the overview of why this file we have created. Okay, just I want to give you one overview, then we will start inside it. We will go inside it. Okay, don't worry. Now when you create this Axios instance file for our API calls, okay, next is we are going to create the slice file. Okay, as we are going to work with the slice, so we are redux. So what we do, first of all we create Axios instance file. Next we create slice. What is this slice now? See, this is to manage a particular piece of data. For example, for user. Okay, so initially user will be, there will be no user, you are going to add the user, right? So all this controls, states and reducers, everything will be inside our slice folder, file I can say. Okay, next comes here action, right? Now this is nothing but the API action I can say. So whatever this API action file calls the backend API. In backend, what API you guys have created using Axios, here we are going to call, and here we are going to write down something like this code. Is that clear to everyone? Okay, so it's very simple. Action, with the help of Axios, it goes to the backend and we get the response. Is that clear? Now after building this slice and action, don't worry, just overview I am giving. Finally we add our slice reducer to the Redux store. Okay, so Axios handles all the communication and the action handles the API call, like whatever you will do in front end, what API call should happen, and the slice manages the state and the store keeps that state available to our application. Is that clear to everyone? Okay, so slice plus action, this is what we are going to see today, so that we can able to connect and we can get, first of all we are going to get the actual property list. Okay, first connection what we are going to do, we are going to get the actual property list, and slowly we will make our whole project to dynamic project. Is this clear to everyone? Any type of doubt here? Hope so it's clear. Okay, now before getting this all list of property list, go to the vite.config.js. Now this is the config file of Vite. Okay, now here listen carefully. Whatever your in whichever port number your backend is running. Maybe your local host is running on 8000, maybe your local host is running on 3000, or maybe your local host is running on 6000, whatever. Please change the local host number, local host port number, guys. For me it's 8080, that's why I have written 8080, and I shared this only to you. Okay, but please recheck this. If your backend is not running on 8080 port number, please don't write this. Instead of this, whatever is your port number your backend is running, please type that, because this is the API call that we are going to connect to the backend. Is that clear? Now, this file is known as the Vite configuration. Before writing the code, just I wanted to clear this vite.config.js and axios.js file. These are the main files which connects our front end to the back end mostly. Okay. So this file is used to configure our Vite project. Okay, first of all, here we are importing define config from, this is plugin and all, right? It helps, first of all, this first line, it helps us to write the Vite configuration. Secondly, it allows Vite to work with React. Is that clear? Now, here we are telling Vite, like this is the React project, so we use React plugin. So that's why here React is coming. Maybe it can happen you guys are working on Angular project. Okay, that is, Angular is also one of the framework. Okay, we are using React. Okay, so that is what plugin here is added. Is that clear to everyone? So here we are telling Vite like we are using one React project. So use the React plugin. Understood everyone? Now, next is we are adding the proxy configuration. I would have written with you, but mostly people do the mistake here in writing the plugin server and all. Okay, that's why I shared this also. Now, this is the important part. So see, whenever our React front end sends a request like /API/users, for example, okay, Vite will forward it to HTTP localhost. If you have written 8080/API/users. Understood everyone? So whatever API endpoint that you are going to write, it will be after this URL. Is that clear to everyone? Have you posted Arpit in your in discussion forum? So basically, React front end. Am I audible? Okay. So basically, React front end, that is the Vite proxy, it sends to the backend, the localhost 8080. So whatever your backend is running on port number, please you add. Okay. Now, why do we need this proxy? It helps our front end to communicate with the backend during development, and we can also avoid the common CORS block process. Okay, that is CORS security process that we learned already in backend we learned. Remember guys that CORS, so it will not block the front end and back end to get communicate with each other. Okay, so this we are writing. So in simple words I can say, if the request starts with API, Vite sends it to our backend server running on port number 8080. So this is what the file is telling. Simple as that. Okay, next is now Axios.js. Yeah, Arpit, you can just post whatever is your issue. I can resolve that. Okay. See, not possible, right? If I will teach Java, so it's not possible in internship. Okay, so that's the thing. Okay, now see, now Axios.js, this is the API setup. Okay, Import is nothing but it brings something into your file, that we all know. Axios is one of the library that we are going to use to make the API request. Okay, from Axios means nothing, get the Axios from the installed package. Okay, this you learned. Now let me just check in package.json Axios is available or not. No, it's not. Yeah, it's available. Axios is available. Okay. Now here comes QS. Someone asked me about the QS, right? See, QS is nothing but the library and the package that we have installed. It is used to convert JavaScript objects into URL query string. For example, if suppose you have an object, okay, name is skill, and you have in object you have like suppose JS, then you have React. Okay, like this, correct? This is one of the object. Okay, now this will get converted into the URL query string. For QS stands for query string. Understood? So now this will be converted into the query. How? Skill, any URL, okay, any URL, skill equal to JS, and right again skill, it's just like a filter type React. How in URL, how you guys will able to see this? Okay, in the same format. So if any format is like this, it will convert it into the query string. Understood everyone? That's why we have imported. Okay, now export, it makes this available to other files. So in one line only we use the word export. Okay, it creates one constant variable, that is the Axios instance. So this is the customized Axios object that we have created using the Axios.create. So it creates a reusable Axios configuration. So wherever it is needed, we can import it and we can use it. Understood everyone? So here base URLs, because /API, because it's a common for all the endpoints, we don't have to write again and again. With credentials true means it allows the browser to send cookies or credentials with the API request. Okay, it is useful for authentication, for login purpose, because in login we are going to use the cookies or session. So for that we are typing here with credentials true. So it allows the browser to send the cookies and all with any of the URL or API request or endpoint, you can say anything, whatever you are comfortable. Next is the param serializer. Okay, so this is what this controls, like how query parameters are converted into the URL. Suppose my query is I want the, suppose there are skills, okay, and I want to filter, like I want JavaScript and React only. So in whole page, so this query will become like this in URL, because in URL this is how we write the URL, right? In Amazon you will see like this only it will come. Okay, so based on this we will get the output. Understood everyone? So this is why we are using the QS. Okay, that stringify, that means it converts in URL friendly string. That's why. Understood? Now in this, one more thing we have written is the array format repeat. This means each array value gets the same parameter name. Okay, so in one line I can say this whole Axios instance file we created for one common API configuration we created, that we can reuse throughout our React application. So whatever I explained in comments, you can add it here. What it is? One API configuration that we can reuse throughout our React application. Any type of doubt? Is this clear to everyone? Is this clear? So what we have done, first of all, inside the bit.config.js, we added this with your backend port number in whichever it is running. Ma'am, we will have to change in our backend to allow front end for. We will have to change in our backend to allow front end. No, no, not required. It will. Whatever we have written, that is enough. That's why from here we are adding so that we don't have to touch our backend. Okay, so this will allow our front end and back end to talk, so don't worry. Hopefully it should allow. But for me to it's allowing. Now let's see if any error comes, we will see that at that time. Okay, first thing is this. Second thing is Axios.js, guys. Make sure you are writing it separately. This is just a centralized API setup so that we can use it in logics. We can directly call. We don't have to write this thousands of times in our logic. Okay. Now, these two files are done. Now, what you have to do, as components are created, everything you have to do in SRC folder. Okay. Now, in SRC folder, CSS is there, data is there, utils is there. Okay, now inside the SRC folder we are going to create one property folder, one store folder we will create first of all. Okay, which will, this store folder is going to take care of what? It is going to take care of all the logics that we are going to write. Okay, so in this way, inside the SRC folder we have store folder. Inside the store folder, now first connection, what we are going to do? Property list. Okay, we need the actual properties get fetched from the database. Actual property should come. This is the dummy properties are coming. Okay, we need the actual property. So for that we are going to work with the property part. So inside the store folder, to keep it separate everything, because user is there, booking is there, right? AI is there, details, property details is there, payment is there, right? So we are going to create the folder, so everything will be separate. So P capital property folder. This property folder will contain only the property list. Property list. Okay. One more folder we will create inside the store folder. Please select the store folder. Create one folder, that is P capital property details. Yeah, property details. Okay. Right, so basically inside the SRC folder, now we have store folder. Inside the store folder we have the property folder, then in store folder we have property details folder also. Now we are not going to touch the property details folder. Let's touch the property, which will give us the property list. Inside the property folder I am going to create the two files. First one is the action and second one is the slice. So first of all, property slice. So property, small letters, property hyphen slice. Now .js. Why .js? Why not .jsx? If you will see in components, all the files are based on .jsx because it's a component, it's a UI. But inside the store folder we are going to write down the logic, so that's why the extension we will give only .js. Is that clear? So first file we are going to create property slice.js. One more file I will create, that is property hyphen action .js. Okay, so two files inside the property folder, property slice and property action. First file we are going to create the property slice. This is known as the state manager. Okay, what is this slice? It's not a mango slice. Yeah, I can say it's like a mango slice also, right? Like slice means what? In normal language, what do you mean by slice? It's a one piece of something. We say take one slice of pizza, right? Take one slice of burger. Give one slice of this, that and all, right? So what is this? Slice is one piece of the Redux store here. Slice is one piece of the Redux store. This slice owns everything related to the properties, because we are only going to work with the properties. Okay, in this, what logic we are going to do? We should get all list of properties. See, writing code is okay. You will practice 2-3 times, you will get what to write. But what to write, that you also should remember, right? So here, what we are going to do, we are going to get all the properties, list of properties. Property spelling is wrong. Okay. Next is, after getting all list of properties, what else we want? What else we want? We have to count, like how many properties are there, 25, 20, 38, whatever. Then we have to add the search filters, okay, like based on search whatever data, and also the loading flag. What do you mean by loading flag here? See, whenever, always remember, and the error, make, because why error also? Because if any error occurs, so gracefully you should display the error. Otherwise, it will crash your project. It will crash your website. Okay. Now, loading flag. Loading flag is what? See, when you click any button, for example, okay, so loading will come. That means what is happening? Whatever you clicked, user clicked something, that request went to the backend, and when backend will give you the result, at that moment you will get the loading part. If your network is faster, if your net is fast, your server is like highly reachable, highly fast and all, so in minute you will get the result, right? So you will not able to see the loading part. But maybe your server is not that much working, so many users came at one time, or server is taking to load, your net is taking to load, right? This type of things, when it takes time to get the data or to submit the data, whatever from back end through front end, okay, that time loading comes. Okay, so when you click anything, you are doing something, there loading will come, right? And when you get the data, when you successfully get the data from the server, loading close. Understood everyone? Okay, so this is what we are going to work here. And when to write, when happen this, it runs whenever the action is dispatched. Okay, reducer never calls the API itself. It only updates the state. Okay, so it sits between the action file and the store that in last we are going to add. Understood everyone? Okay, so from component we call the Axios. Okay, it go to the slice reducer, it store into the and in component we can able to see. Okay, so now let's start writing the first slice, that is the property slice. So we are going to use import, first of all, import create slice, because from where? From Redux.js toolkit. In package.json you can see this is already packages there, so you don't have to install, but when you are going to create, you have to install this package. Is that clear to everyone? So in package.json I already shared this. When you do npm I, already all the packages are installed. Okay, so you don't have to install this package again. Okay, but in future when you are doing by your own, you have to. Okay, so this import is nothing but bring something from another file into this file. Create slice, we named this import. Okay, we take only this one function from Redux.js toolkit. This is the installed package the function comes from. Create slice is one of the helper that builds the state plus reducers plus action creators for us in one shot. No switch case needed here. Understood? So that we can write it properly. Okay. Now, when you imported this, what we do? We create one function. we give the name as property slice equal to create slice. Okay, give the bracket, give the curly braces. What you imported now here, like schema. Okay, in backend how we used to write the schema, in same way here we are going to create the slice. No. It will taken from the back end only everything. In front end you don't have to set up all. Don't worry. First of all, let's focus on property. When we will work for user part, that time I will explain you everything. Okay, so don't worry about this. First of all, let's go from the starting. That is, we need the list of properties from backend, actual list of properties from database. Okay. Now, inside this slice, first of all, we are going to give the name for this slice. Okay. We are going to label. Okay. So, this is mandatory. So, for this name, I am going to give inside double quotation, name it as a property. Understood everyone? Okay. And sorry, not equal to, here you have to give colon, you have to give. Okay. And let's give comma. See, this is mandatory. If you are working with the booking, so you have to type here name booking. Okay, it's just like a name. How we all have name so that anyone can call us, right? Similarly, we are also giving a label for this slice. Okay, so Redux Toolkit puts it in front of every action type, like whatever function here we are going to create. Okay, it will be property slash get properties, property slash xyz function, property slash this. So this whole React tab will be known like whatever function is called, it is based on the property, it is inside this file. Understood everyone? Okay, so whenever you will see the Redux tab action like this, we have to give the name. Now after giving the name, you have to give the initial state. This is also mandatory. Initial state, curly braces. Now see, what do you mean by initial state? Name is only telling value of this slice before anything happens. The first render, first time whenever user will open the website, at first time what it should happen, that initial part here we have to give. Understood? So first time when user will open, what we should see? We should see all the properties from the backend. Okay, so properties, I will give the name as a properties colon square bracket. So it's an array of property objects from backend. So from backend, whatever properties, if in backend database properties are available, so all the properties internally will be stored inside this array, and then in future it will be shown. If it is not available in your backend database, it will show 0 properties. Is that clear to everyone? So this is how all the properties from backend are going to stored inside this. Is that clear? Okay. Next is total properties. This is the name that we are giving. Okay, total properties. So using this name we are going to use in our project. Now see, initially I don't know how many properties are there. Initially it can happen there is no property present in database. Okay, initially anything can happen. So what we will do, initially we will keep it 0, safer side. Okay, if it is there to 0, it will get added, right? So how many property exists in total based on the pagination, like in first page we need 12 properties, 5 properties, whatever, that total properties are will get added. Is that clear? That's why initially 0 we are giving. Next we are going to type the search. See, whatever here logic I have given, that logic based on that only I am writing. From nowhere I am writing. Okay, params, search params. Params nothing but parameters. Okay, curly braces I have given. This is an object. So see, why this? It's an active filter. For example, here if I will type Goa, So if I will click search icon, I will get all the result based on Goa, right? So that Goa properties will be stored here and I will get the result, right? So that's why here for initially we kept it empty. Next, error. Error. Initially what error you will get? Nothing, right? So we will keep initially null. Okay. So it holds the error message when the API fails. Okay. Initially we are keeping null, no error. But in case in future error comes, it will be holding that error inside the error variable. Understood? Now, initially loading will be false. Right? We will make true when we will send any request. Okay, when we will send any request to the backend, that time loading will become true. But initially for now we are making it false. Is that clear to everyone? Okay, now inside while creating the slice, you have given the name to your slice, you given the initial state to your slice, give comma, and now you are going to type reducers. These are the functions that we are going to create inside this. Okay, now what is this reducers? This is the, here inside this we are going to create the functions, or I can say reducers are the functions that are allowed to change the state. Okay, each key here automatically becomes the action creator, which is why, for example, property action is one function. Okay, and if I will call get request reducer here, I am going to create. Okay, so it works at the bottom of the file, right? What is the rule of the reducer? Reducer must be a synchronous, no Axios, no await here. Is that clear? So reducers is nothing but flips the loading flag on, okay, when it is dispatched at the very start of the API call, right? And so the component can show a loader or a spinner, whatever you have created. Okay, now here we are going to work with this state. It's a current slice state. Okay, so it is built in inside the Redux.js toolkit, so it becomes immutable update behind the scene, but you are not able to see that. Okay, now here what we are going to do, first reducer I am going to create, that is get request. Inside this bracket state, curly braces, get request. First, this get request is what? Whenever I want the all the properties, right? So first step is to get the properties. So get request one reducer we created. Using this we are going to call from the backend to get all the properties. So when this function will run, only state dot loading will be true, because now loading started, because we are getting the we run this function get request to the backend. Understood everyone? So it went from user, the request went to the backend, and now loading started. Give comma. Next is get properties. After sending the request, now get properties. Reducer I am creating. So this get properties again, state comma action. We are going to work with state comma action. Okay, and give the curly braces, right? So see here, it stores the data the backend returned. Okay, see, first you started, now this will give us the result from the backend. It stores the data from the backend. Understood? So when the dispatched on a successful response we get the result, we get the properties inside it. Okay, so state dot properties equal to this properties, guys. Okay, this properties here I have added equal to action dot payload. Okay, action dot payload dot data. This is what Action is nothing but the object we dispatched. Then payload we type. This is the data we passed in. Here is the see, payload dot data is nothing but the actual properties shared. Okay, actual property data. All the list of property data is stored now inside this properties. Is that clear? And action is nothing but the dispatch will be happening from the component side. Understood everyone? Any type of doubt? Suppose I am a customer. I am the customer and I am sitting in restaurant. Okay. When I speak, I need burger. Waiter comes to me. Waiter is Axios. For example, think like this. Waiter is Axios. Okay. And kitchen is the back end. Understood? And I am the front end. Customer is the front end. Now, from the customer will speak. Hey waiter, I need one burger. Okay. What I said, hey waiter, I need a burger. So this sentence is nothing but is the action. Right? Is the action. I speak like this to the Axios so that it can take my request. This is what dispatch is happening. It is taking my it is taking my request to the kitchen, to the backend, and when in backend burger is ready, Axios is going, taking it and giving back to me. Understood? So what happened? Action is dispatched. In Amazon, in Myntra, in anywhere, in Flipkart and all, you will see your parcel has been dispatched, sent. Okay, your request has been sent. You will get the result in few minutes. Understood? This is known as the dispatch actually. So here is the action. Understood everyone? So what you asked, if you asked for to get all the properties, in action we will write that logic. So with that action, okay, so when it is successful, oh, there is data successfully done. So now you will get the data and it will be stored inside the properties. Understood everyone? Any type of doubt? Next, with this, we want the total properties also. Above total properties, how you will? So action dot payload dot all underscore properties. Logic will have been written there in backend, so no worries. Properties, spelling is wrong. Is this clear to everyone? Okay, action dot payload dot all underscore properties. Okay, next, see, next is what? Think carefully. When you send the request, loading was true, right? When you get the result successfully, at that time your loading should be what? Tell me everyone. Your loading should be state dot loading. It should be true or false? It should be false, right? Because request finished. Request finished. Request finished, that means hide the loader. Is this clear to everyone? I hope so this is clear. Okay. So when you get the request, when you send the request to the backend, loading is true. When you get the data, loading becomes false. Simple as that, right? Now, next is any type of doubt. First of all, tell me. With these two reducers, any type of doubt? Is this clear? Any type of doubt? I hope so you guys are listening carefully because you have got session quiz, right? And so if you will score more, you will get the badges and you can just share it wherever you want. It will uplift your project, okay? And don't forget to give. It's 8:30 and to 9:30 only, okay? And it will be not opened again. Again in next session it will be open, it will be another session quiz. Okay, so be prepared about that. Is this clear to everyone? I hope so. There is no type of doubt. If you feel any type of doubt, you can post in discussion forum. Harika, you don't worry about this. Okay, for you I will take care. You just post me. I will just give me 10 minutes. Okay, in last 5 minutes you you message me again. I will share the email ID. Okay, so this is how you got the properties. Now here we are going to work with the search params also, right? See, now here one more reducer we are going to create, that is update. I am giving the name. Okay, so it's not a built-in. So update search params, right? State, comma, action. Okay, arrow function, curly braces. Okay, sorry. Now see, update the filter used by the listing API. What this function, this reducers will do? It will update the filters used by the listing API. Okay, it dispatched when from the search bar or the filter UI before the API call. Understood? See, before any call, suppose if I will type Goa and now when I click, then the API call is happening with this search bar, then it will give us the result. Okay, so because the action file reads this params, that's a before API call. No, we can write like this also, we can write like this also. Again there are two ways. Okay, so don't worry. Like this, see here I didn't give colon. Like this also you can write, or proper arrow function also you can write it like this. Okay, so don't worry. So that's the two ways I have written, so that you should not. Ma'am, I missed only because yesterday of yesterday. It won't affect me. It will affect. You have to attend the quiz one, guys. You have to attend. It's open. Please attend it. Otherwise, in certificate it will be issue. Okay. Whoever missed the quiz because of your terms and all, please you can attend it again, because I have opened it and you can attend. Okay, now inside this, okay, here we have written the arrow function only to show both styles are valid. Is that clear? Without the arrow so sorry, see, like this also you can write. Understood everyone? Like this also you can write, but just I have written in future, if you see something like this, you should not get confused. Either you can write it like this, or either you can write it using the arrow function. Is that clear? Okay, now inside this, now we are going to with the work with the params. So state dot search params above that we have initialized equal to, here we are going to use object dot keys. It's a built-in method. Here only action dot payload. This is the data coming from the backend. Dot length equal to 0. Okay. We are using ternary operator. If this condition is true, then this, else, curly braces, spread operator state dot search params, comma, spread operator action dot payload. Is that clear? So see here, object dot keys, okay, length equal to 0 is nothing but was an empty object sent. Okay, empty object, that is the user cleared the filter and reset to the this. Is that clear? So if any if suppose no object, empty object is sent, that means no filter is applied. We need proper all properties, no filters, no search, nothing. then it will result like this. But if with request any search, okay, any filters are applied, right? So this is what, copy the old filters first, okay, then copy the new ones on top, so the new values win and untouched the filters survive. Is that clear? So that's why we have written it like this. So old one will get replaced with the new one. Is that clear to everyone? So in this way we completed our update search params, where it is getting close here, no, here, give comma, and in last get errors, get errors. This is one of the reducer against state comma actions, okay, sorry, action, give the curly braces. Now here again guys, if any error occurs, so state dot error equal to any action, any error from the backend, so it will be stored inside the error. And done. So this were the 1 2 3 4 4 reducers we created inside using the create slice. Any type of doubt? So now property slice, okay, here in last, this part is done. In last we are going to export const property action equal to property slice dot actions. This is the property slice that we have created. Property action name I have given, so that this function name I am going to create inside the property action.js and dot actions. So this property slice dot actions is nothing but it auto generated the action creators, one per reducer key above whatever we have created. Okay, for example, property action, how we are going to call inside this file, inside the property action.js file, using property action dot get request, property action dot get properties, property action dot update search params, property action dot get errors. If you will hover your, if you will move your mouse there, you will see inside your property action you have all the reducers that you guys have created, so that we can access it inside this file like this. Is that clear to everyone? Okay, and this whole function, whole reducers what we have created, this will not run unless and until here you are going to use one word function, that is dispatch. Unless and until you will not call waiter to do something, waiter will not come and take your order and it will go to the backend. So here for that we use dispatch. So this is how we created the property slice, and in last, after doing this, we are going to export default the property slice. Is that clear to everyone? Okay, so this is the whole slice object where it is used, and we will store inside the store.js file when we will complete our property actions, so that from the property component we can call and we can get the actual property. This was the first step that we have done, or you can say third step. First step was to create the Axios, write down the configuration in vite.config.js, and then start with the logic part. That is the first one, is the property slice. Okay, so if I will start property action, I will not able to complete in 5 minutes, and you have the session quiz from 8:30, right? So I will stop here. So whatever today we learned, any type of doubt? If you feel any type of doubt, you please post in discussion forum. Okay, any issues related to anything, you can please post it. Quiz 1 is also live. If anyone forget to attend, please attend it. Okay, it's mandatory for your certificate purpose. Secondly, this session quiz, tomorrow session is not there. On Wednesday session is there. Okay, you check the timetable, everyone. So day after tomorrow again this session quiz will be taken, and that quiz will be taken, and what that day I am going to take. This was the first session quiz, so this is based on the basic React that we have already completed on the last sessions. Okay, so you can just go. I know many of you will score good because it's very basic. You have already understood this, right? And from next onwards, it will be based on what today we are going on. Basis on that, the thing will be there. Okay, so yeah, about the credential. Uh, yeah, next session is on Wednesday, guys. Okay, Harika, you can just mail me here to this email. This is my email ID. So you can post me here so that I can check it. Okay. Till tomorrow, you will it will get resolved. Okay, guys. So all the best for the session quiz. We will stop here. I hope so. You understood everything. If you forget anything, sorry, if you miss anything or you didn't got, you just post in discussion forum. I will always be replying there. Okay. And in announcement, please check the certificate after the internship, of course, right? Okay. So we'll stop here, everyone. Thank you so much for attending today's session. Let's meet to next session, that is on Wednesday. Till now, whatever we have completed, download it, go through the recording session, download it. Till now, whatever we have done, complete it, so that in next session we can get the actual data and we can start connecting. Okay. Thank you, everyone. All the best. All can leave now. Is the time on every side? This I have to check. Yeah, I got it. All can leave this. Can you just try at 8:30? If not, I shared you one email ID. There, can you post your mail to me? Yeah, please, everyone, go to the timetable. Tomorrow there is no session. On Wednesday session is there. Okay. So till then, please complete everything. And Nova Trades, please post me in that email ID that I have shared. Okay, and about this I really don't know. I have to check this. If you try, if 8:30 you can do, then you can try, or else you try to convert. Yes, tomorrow there is no session, as I already informed everyone. Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you so much. Everyone can leave. Good night. Take care. Let's meet on next session, and all the best for your